I was actually on a suicide prevention patrol on a Saturday night on the quay of the river shore. We were actually approached by a member of the public, and the reason why he was in the area at that time was that he came down with the intention of ending his life through suicide, but because he actually seen our mobile unit there as he was passing down, he had time to think, and something as simple as that there makes all the big difference to a lot of people, knowing that the help is out there and there is people watching out for everyone there.
The organisation was set up in 1972 because of a young lad named Paul Carvin. He was coming home from the cinema one night and thought he'd take a shortcut and fell into the river. His father and his uncle then found him and then decided that the town was big enough to set up an organisation.
The organisation was formed in January 2010 by Darrell and Declan Barry. That was followed in June 2010 by the weekly suicide prevention patrols that take place along the banks of the river shore.
I suppose we wanted to give the people of Waterford City and County a marine search and rescue service. We don't only just cover search, rescue and recovery here on the river, we also do swiftwater rescue and flood rescue.
The work we do is very important to prevent suicide. We do have patrols every weekend covering the riverside to prevent people from entering the water.
These guys, they're giving up their nights out in the town and being at home with their families to start from 10 p.m. till after 3 o'clock in the morning, when any probably sane person would be in bed asleep.
What motivates us, I'd say, is bringing a loved one back home to their family, alive and well.
Unfortunately, I've had some family and friends die by suicide. And one of my mates died by suicide here in the river, and that was what made me join the organisation.
We decided to take a step back, I suppose, from not necessarily search and rescue, but we wanted to see why people were entering the water. And we found out very quickly that they weren't falling in. They were actually entering the water with the intention of ending their lives to suicide by drowning.
The organisation got involved with more suicides, I think, just gradually more so. I don't think it set out to be focused on suicide. It was just to help prevent people from entering the water, and then I think just suicide just rose in the last few years, and that's just what we do now,
It was about 9:45 one night, and I was driving over the bridge. And we saw this gentleman standing on the bridge, and he had a set of crutches. So we kind of said to ourselves, maybe he's just having a rest, maybe his leg was, a bit tired. So I pulled over the van on the side of the bridge, and David got out, and he could see straight away that the person was in distress. He was crying. And he was holding a teddy in his hand, a small little teddy, and he wouldn't speak. So we rang Waterford Gardaí, and in fairness, the Gardaí had him on CCTV. At this stage, we had to pull off of the bridge, and the Gardaí were en route. We weren't only after pulling off the bridge when the guards rang back to say that he got over the railings. I always remember driving under the bridge and looking up to where he was actually standing and seeing the two crutches still there. Whatever way we looked, there was a glaze over the water, flat calm, and we could see this white face. I remember saying to David, you're going to have one chance here, one chance only. I said, the minute I pulled the boat up next to him, I said, you're going to have to put your hand into the water, he's going under. And I remember taking him back into the boat, and he was foaming at the mouth. And thankfully, we were able to get him resuscitated and back breathing again. But I'll never forget, just if we hadn't maybe pulled over to see if he was okay and made a phone call to the guards, would have anyone saw him? It happened so quick.
Obviously, all the time it's not that easy. They will not talk to you, they won't want you near you. They see you coming, they think you're just the guards arriving, they think they're in trouble, where we are only there to help them. Sometimes it's not nice what we have to do, but at the end of the day, it is somebody's life we're trying to save.
The best thing we do is we give people a second chance. There's people out there that, unfortunately, with suicide, they think there is no other way. And hopefully we're there in time to give them a second chance and let them know that there is a way, and there is people there to help them.
The government themselves should and could be doing a lot more than what they're actually doing at the moment.
I think they need to highlight it a lot more, They're very quick off the mark when somebody gets killed on a road to bring out these ads about car crashes and driving and talking on the phone or whatever. But you'll never ever hear in the media about somebody committing suicide.
We bring people to safety all the time, and they're either handed over to the Gardaí or they're handed over to the HSE, and they're either brought to the Garda barracks or they're brought out to the A&E, and there's absolutely nobody there to see them. There's no investment from the government whatsoever.
The waiting list for a counsellor is so long. You could be waiting up to 6 months before you could finally actually get to talk to somebody. Like, if you're not feeling the way you're feeling, you do need to talk about it, because it's still going to be in your head until you finally get to talk to somebody.
We were looking for a lad that went in off the bridge. He went in at 10 to 9 on a Monday morning after leaving the psychiatric department here at Waterford Regional Hospital, and got a taxi over to the train station. He got out of the taxi and literally jumped into the river. We recovered his body 6 days later, and we went to the funeral. And there was some of the new guys that were there that came with me, and then they realised why you do it. You won't ever probably fathom why we do it or why anyone does it until you see the look on that family's face. You just won't.
It's not an easy thing to do, even having to go up to family members or anything like that while they're standing there watching. But it's just set in my head that I want to be able to be there to help people. I want to be able to stop people from going into the water. It's something I've always wanted to do when I was younger. I've always wanted to help, so that's how I can do it.
It's a choice that you are taking a risk that you could have a really bad outcome and it could really affect you, but then you are taking the risk that you could really save someone, and you don't know it's for you until you've done it.
We had a full search of 37, 38 days looking for someone's loved one that's gone missing. When you come across that person and you recover their body from the water, that is a difficult day.
I can see how down some people can get, and I can see the domino effect of what happens if someone does decide to take their own life, and I can see what happens to the families afterwards. So it does make you think, and you can get pretty grounded from it, but then there is a flip side that it could nearly push you over the edge as well.
How do you go out there looking for somebody? How do you get in the water? It really is a hard thing to do, knowing that you're going out there, you don't know what you're going out to find, you don't know what you're going out to do, you just get a call, you just go.
We're out there in all weathers, clocking up thousands of hours and not to be recognised by the government whatsoever. And only for the people of Waterford City and County and the businesses, we wouldn't be able to do what we do, we wouldn't even exist.
Sometimes, it is hard to keep going, but we are lucky enough that we have so many dedicated volunteers. We wouldn't actually be where we are today if it wasn't for the volunteers that we have.
It is like part of me at this stage. I love doing it. People ask me what do I do in my spare time, and it's straight out. Oh, I'm in Drogheda River Rescue. I also volunteer at St. John's. Nearly my actual job comes last.
Coming down here is like coming down to your second home. You don't really get many bad days. You come down here for a break to meet the lads and to do your job.
I don't wake up every morning and it's like a job where I have to come down here. I come down because I want to come down. Like, I probably couldn't ever see the day that I give it up.
Being a volunteer means you're down here because you love doing what you do. If someone in this organisation was to get paid 1 cent for what they do, you would lose all meaning of to what the organisation actually is about.
There's nothing better than volunteers. And there's an old saying that in life, you make a living with what you get, but you make a life with what you give.